I've seen In This Moment 9 times. What keeps me coming back? What keeps my ex away from coming back to me? I don't actually want that. Find out the answer to that first question here. I'm Luke, and this is Stage 76. In This Moment is an absolutely phenomenal live band. I've seen them more than any other band. Like I said earlier, I've seen them 9 times. Basically, every time they come near me, I see them. Although, funny enough, they'll be near me next week, and I'm skipping out on them because I'm already going to 2 other concerts that week, and I can't keep taking days off. Anyway, there are many good reasons why I keep going back to In This Moment shows. Their music is awesome, they have very interesting set designs, and they really know how to put on a spectacle of a show. As far as the music goes, they never fail to have a great set list. You're going to get a minimum of 4 songs from the Blood album because, let's face it, it's their absolute best album. That's the one that got me and tons of others hooked on the band in the first place. You'll probably also get a few other heavy hitters like Sick Like Me, Big Bad Wolf, Oh Lord, and The In-Between. A couple things to note about the set though. If you really want to see songs from before the Blood album, you're most more than likely going to be disappointed. Every time I've seen the band has been post Black Widow, and they have not played a single song that predates Blood at any of the shows I've been to. There are also some pretty long pauses in the music being played at the show due to Maria's wardrobe changes, and while this does mean fewer actual songs being played, something is basically always happening, so you'll still be entertained. One of the ways they fill the gaps during wardrobe changes is playing an instrumental medley. All the boys will jam out and do some instrumentals of bands like Metallica, Pantera, and even Queen. They call this the Monster Jam, and they basically have a new jam that they bring out every few tours. These really go to showcase what great musicians and performers Chris, Travis, Kent, and Randy are. A lot of the focus of these shows is on Maria, but the Monster Jam and the occasional drum solo are times for everyone else to shine. There are other ways they fill the gaps caused by wardrobe changes, but they're somewhat less musical, and I'll get to that later. One other thing about the set is that they basically always close with the song Whore. They'll put the big lectern out and Maria will come give her big, inspiring speech regarding some of the background behind the song. I've heard it all so many times, but it's never any less powerful. Then they'll all hit us hard with the song and its intensity until the very end. Everyone is going to completely pop off to Whore. It's their biggest song and one of their best. So it's one of the best ways for them to close it all out. There's more in store than just what you're hearing though. In This Moment usually has some sort of elaborate stage set that goes beyond your standard banner at the back. They usually play relatively mid-sized venues for their headline shows, so while the room for complex stage design may be somewhat lacking compared to bigger bands, they certainly make the most of what's available to them. One key thing they will always have is some sort of tunnel for Maria to retreat into for her wardrobe changes. Also, provided they're headlining, to give things a little bit more verticality, they'll usually also have 2 members of the band on high risers toward the back. Kent is basically always one of them since he's on drums. Drums are big and heavy. They don't move. While the other members will switch out their stage position throughout the show. If it's not a headline show, they may not be given quite as much real estate for verticality, but they'll still occupy the space that they're given appropriately. In this clip, they are supporting Slipknot at this show, so you don't see the bigger risers, but it doesn't really take that much away from the performance. Another thing that they basically always have is some sort of religious iconography. They'll always have big set pieces of altar-looking things and different religious symbols, quite often featuring the best religious symbol, the pentagram. Back in the early Ritual era, they had this weird thing that looked like some sort of portal to hell with 2 big horns sticking out of the floor. And sometimes they'll have some pretty sinister looking gates. Okay, it's a fence, not a gate. But I wanted to make that awful joke, so whatever. It's a sinister fence. And while Sinister Gates himself will not be performing at this show, a bunch of other colorful characters will be. What helps make these characters so colorful is what they're wearing. Chris, Randy, and Kent are generally going to be in this whole Rob Zombie flavor getup with their long hair and face paint. Travis stands out a little bit more with his shorter hair and his mask that he was wearing long before the pandemic. This man was prepared. Sometimes they'll all have full face masks for part of the show, but usually they'll take them off after a song or two. Then there's Maria, who will have up to 10 different outfits for the entire show. She's got a variety of outfits that are more gown, robe, or dress-like. The Blood Girls, the backup dancers, will also have their own outfits that play off of Maria's. For Big Bad Wolf, Maria is going to have this wolf mask, as will the Blood Girls. If Maria has a weird long finger things, so will the Blood Girls. Sometimes there will be props incorporated into the performance. For Oh Lord, they'll have the big glowing balls. Horror will have the dunce cap and the yardstick that Maria's gonna come smack you on the knuckles with. Sometimes she'll have a smoke shooter cannon thing. There's also tons of other stuff like these things. A lot of these props will be incorporated into the choreography of the performance. The choreography is one of the biggest parts of the show. Maria and the Blood Girls all have a very set group of moves that they'll be performing throughout the show. Sometimes the girls will have their own choreographed parts in between songs as well. You can really tell it takes a lot of practice to nail these routines because they require so much cooperation between everyone on stage. And Maria is singing on top of that to boot. Everyone else on instruments may be a bit more freeform, but they all still have their own marks to hit as well. They have their own sets of moves and places to be on stage, and they make their presence known. And Maria always makes it a point to introduce everyone in the band by name for their own little time to shine. When everyone is in sync, there is an immense amount of talent being showcased on the stage. That being said, the focus is generally on Maria. If she's on stage, you're going to be paying attention to her and or the backup dancers. There's a reason Maria uses the headset style microphone. She wouldn't be able to put on the same type of performance without it. The way she's moving on stage and singing at the same time, I'm sure that takes a lot of practice, commitment, and talent. Even doing all those costume changes on such a tight schedule must be such a crazy skill to develop. Maria Brink is the true driving force behind what makes this band great. There's just nothing else quite like seeing In This Moment do what they do. It all culminates into this awesome performance. I'm going to show one of my favorite clips from an In This Moment show. Sorry for the Snapchat story quality, but I just have to show it. What they're all doing on stage is an audio-visual spectacle that's absolutely going to blow you away. That's why you should see In This Moment. Okay, thanks for checking out another Stage 76 video. I finally did another band spotlight in the same vein as my first video on Slipknot. I don't know how this one is going to turn out. I'm very, very busy in life right now, so it's been a kind of a struggle to get this thing done and out the door. And again, thank you for checking out what I made here. I'm Luke. This is Stage 76.